This week, we are going to show you how to look up that item you found at the thrift store to find out all the information you could possibly need to know, from beginner methods all the way up to the pro sellers.
Whether you're a seasoned reseller or beginning or just even curious about reselling in general, or just want to find a cool item at the thrift store, we have ways for you to find that item and learn more about it.
So this is going to be for literally anyone. If you go into a thrift store and you want to know what you found, this is going to help you do that. So to start off with, the first thing that we do is we look and see if this item has a barcode. So this can range from DVDs all the way up to a dress new with tags. Barcodes are going to be on your item, and you're going to be able to scan these barcodes to find exactly what item you're holding in your hand.
Now, you can buy a barcode scanner, and it is significantly faster, so we've been told. But there are free barcode scanning apps on eBay and Amazon that you don't even need to have a store. I just have my eBay account that I don't even think I've used ever, and it gives you that as a free option. It's quick. You open it up, take a picture of the barcode, and it spits out everything that you could possibly need to know.
Yes. Now, this is super useful if you want to find out exactly what you're holding. This is going to do that for you. If you want to find out what other people are selling it for, maybe you want to know if the thrift store has a really great deal, or you just want to know, is this something you can pick up to try and resell? This is going to be a really great way to do this, because this is an exact match. It matches the barcode exactly. And if you don't have a scanner for whatever reason, maybe you're not a reseller and you don't want to have an eBay app on your phone, because what use is that to you? Or maybe you just, the barcode is not super clear enough for the scanner to work. You are able to actually use the UPC website and type in this barcode to pull up the item for you as well. So the barcode can be looked up either by scanning or by manual search, and it's a really great way to find out exactly what item you have, the style, everything, all of that information, really easy to do. Unfortunately, barcodes are pretty rare, especially in the clothing world, so there are more ways to find out exactly what you found.
All right, so the next one. We are living in a wonderful age of technology where you can literally just take a photo of something with your phone and it'll give you the answer almost all the time. It's a really great system. Google Lens is fantastic. 10 out of 10. They've nailed it. Pro tip, do take a photo of it on your camera, on your phone, and save it into your phone. Because if you just take a photo through Google Lens, it will just disappear if you don't have it saved to your phone.
Now, Google Lens is really great to find an exact match of exactly what you have. However, it is going to need a very, very clear photo, because it will find similars if it can't get all of the details that you have in your item. It also is not perfect, because not everything can be found as an exact match. It's using a visual representation of your item, comparing it to a visual representation of what they assume is the same item. So if you have a clear photo and you're still not able to get Google Images to pull up your item, there are things you can do to refine your search within Google Images. So the first thing that I would do is make sure that you are narrowing down exactly what you want to look for within that Google image search. So you take the little box around your item and you can make it either wider or smaller, dependent on, what exactly you're looking for in your picture that you have. So if you have a background that's super busy, you can kind of move down the bars so that you're just around the item. Or if maybe you're looking to see if it's from a TV show or something like that, and you want to include the character you're looking for, you can make it bigger so it includes the entire person rather than wherever it narrowed down to.
On top of that, it is important to try to cut out as much of the busy background as possible. So when I'm at the store, pro tip is to look at the ground when you're taking the photo, because it's usually a nondescript gray cement look, and that does typically contrast with the colors and the shape of the item better. The other thing that you can do, and this is the more important part of it, is to add keywords.
Or some people can do that.
It's just you. It's literally just you that doesn't have the ability to add keywords. And I'm convinced that it's user error, honestly. So add keywords. Android, it should work for Androids or iPhone. You can put in a little description and get a better result.
Yes, so make sure that you're doing that. So this is probably one of the easiest way to find your items. You're going to be able to pull up exactly what you have. You're going to be able to pull up comps if you're trying to sell the item, and you're going to be able to pull up, if this is being sold at stores. Maybe it's currently being sold in Nordstrom, Macy's, whatever, so you can go buy it yourself and find out the thrift store has a good deal on it. There's going to be great details here. It's also going to give you the style name, which we're going to explain to you later why the style name is super important, especially if you're trying to sell this item. but this is going to come from Google Photos as well, which we're going to need later on.
All right. So you've done all of those and still no luck. We've all been in this thrift store and found something that there's no information on it. It doesn't even have a brand tag for clothing. It's been cut out or ripped out because people don't like the itchiness of the tag, and you need to start somewhere. So the single best place to start is to look for the brand. Now, most people aren't aware that you can actually use the material tag on a clothing item and use one of the numbers to find the brand or the manufacturer. And it's called the RN number. With the RN number, you can go in and type that in and find the brand or the parent company.
Right here I have a material tag for you, and right at the top there you can see the RN number. It's the most famous RN number for every reseller ever, 66170. This is the RN number that I think we all memorized as we started out. And if you're not
Free People,
Urban Outfitters, yeah. Now, if you're not a reseller, this can be really good to know if this is one of the many brands that fall under these larger parent brand windows. We've got Anthropologie that has, I don't even know, thousands of brands underneath it, and
It's
Free
insane.
People also sells other brands. So this is a really good way to know, is this an Anthropologie brand? Is this what you like? But RN numbers will tell you who the brand is, or the parent company, or the manufacturer. It depends. Now, we actually look these up differently.
Yes, so I do the easy way because I'm lazy, and I just take that number and throw it into Google, and it typically will spit out the right answer. If you type it in just to Google, say RN whatever, it's going to give you pictures of the brand. It's going to give you not your item, but it's going to give you anything that's related to that brand.
Yes. Now, I go to the RN Lookup website. It is a .gov website, so this tells me that this is going to be the most accurate version of the information. You can scroll right down and type in the RN number, and it will spit out whoever the brand is. Now, the one thing I will caution with Tyler's method is if somebody has tagged the RN number, for example, someone put 66170 in the description of an item and it's not actually Anthropologie, they just believe it is, that will also pull if you are putting it through Google. So just make sure that you're, crowdsourcing that information. You've got more than one hit on that before you take that forward. But yeah, both methods work. Just make sure you're looking up the RN number, and hopefully that'll give you the brand.
With the brand, you have, well, not half of the way done, but you're at least have a place to start on finding that item.
So the next step from there is going to be sticking with this material tag. You're going to want to look for a style number. So all brands are different. All style numbers look different. So we're not going to be able to tell you specifically which one you might be looking for.
So all brands are different. Some are better than others. Shout out to Cabby, Soft Surroundings, Madewell. They make it super easy. There are other brands like Anthropologie, Free People that make it a little bit more complicated. And I don't know why. There should be a standard practice.
Yeah, so let's start with an easy one. So this is going to be Madewell, as you can see here. And inside, you're going to see a collection of tags. They've got a lot of them. See here. There's going to be a lot of them, but there is a tiny little tag right at the back of all the tags, and it actually says the word style with a number. So we're going to type in this style number, which happens to be AF687, and it's going to pull up the style name. Now, for Madewell, they often do also have the style name right here on a separate tag, but the style number will actually give you more information. So it's going to tell you what the wash for this pair of jeans is, and sometimes it tells you the type of leg. Maybe it's a boot cut. For this one, it's probably chewed hem. Things like that. It's going to give you more information. So the style number is actually really helpful. And if you are planning on selling the item, the style number can be really great to include in your title because people are actually searching these style numbers. If you're somebody that's at a thrift store, you might actually be typing in the style number to find this exact item. So resellers, take note. People are going to do that because they want to see if they can find this item from you. So make sure you're including that style number.
With the style numbers, there's probably 10 brands that make it hard for no reason to every one that makes it easy. There's going to be a lot of trial and error. So you want to type in every single number that you have on the material tag. And if you see a number, type it in. It's just keep going until you find the style. It's a pain. It's a lot of trial and error. You have to do a lot of mix and matching. You have to do different combinations. It's like cracking a safe sometimes.
Yes. So we're going to use an example here. This is the back side of it. And you see there's an OB and a GB number. So we're going to try both of these. Now we're going to try it with spaces, without spaces, with the word style, without the word style, all different iterations until we're able to find it. One thing I will note is you often want to be on the images tag when you are typing this in because, well, two reasons. One, it is very likely that this item is no longer available on the Free People or Anthropologie website. So it's very unlikely that it's going to pull up in a regular Google search. Not impossible, but unlikely. So the images is where you're probably going to locate it. You'll also see people will take a picture of just the tag with the OB number, and that will also pull it oftentimes. So you want to make sure that you are on the images tag when you are doing this search, and just keep trying. Every iteration you can think of these numbers, whatever numbers you have on that tag, just keep typing them in until something comes up.
If that doesn't work, and that works the overwhelming majority of the time, probably 70, 80, 90% of the time.
Yeah, it works most often. At this point of all of this, we've likely found the item, but if we haven't and we still want to find out exactly what we're holding, there are more options.
So the next one is going to be an even more tedious task of keywords. So just describe the item and throw that into Google and see what it spits out. If it's a dress, type in the dress, type in the brand, type in the color, type in any kind of distinguishing features that you can think of, and keep changing it until you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, so the most important keywords that I generally find are, first of all, brand. If you have the brand, please put that in there. Material content. So, for example, this right here that I'm wearing is a Sleeping on Snow sweatshirt. It is an alpaca blend. That is going to be super important in the keyword search. Make sure you're using the word alpaca. If you have some kind of defining feature, maybe an embroidery or sequins or things like that, make sure that you're including that in there. And yeah, just try all different versions. Don't try to think like somebody who's selling the item. Think like somebody who saw the item, thought it was really cool, and they're typing it in, because that is your best bet of finding this item.
General keywords to specific. So start very vague. Say Free People dress or Anthropologie sweater. And then from there, add additional information. Add the color, add the material, add anything that is special about it.
Yeah. Now, one pro tip that you can use is if you are typing in, say for example, you're typing in Sleeping on Snow alpaca sweater, and what's coming up is Sleeping on Snow alpaca dresses. You can go in and use quotation marks to make sure that the words you want together stay together. So you can put quotation, Sleeping on Snow alpaca sweater, end quotation, and then whatever other keywords you are including in there. Maybe you're putting white or ivory or half zip or something like that. You can do that to try and kind of make that search as specific and narrowed down as possible. So this is most helpful when you have like a ton of keywords that you can think of for this item that you want to type in, but there's a few of them that really need to stay together. So, Sleeping on Snow sweater needs to be together. Alpaca, half zip, other cozy, knitted, all of these things can kind of be wherever, but it has to be a sweater, right? It has to be. So those things you want to keep quotations around, and then the rest, where it falls, it falls.
Also, don't be afraid to ask someone else. So if you have a boyfriend, husband, wife, girlfriend, whomever, ask them how they would do it. We both search vastly differently for items, and sometimes I have better luck than she does because I am an average person. I am not as involved in the day-to-day of the reselling, so I'm not going to have all of those technical terms. I'm just going to say, that's green, that's Free People, it's a dress, Free People green dress. That's what I search, and sometimes it works.
Yes, and on the flip side of that, I sometimes will look for items, and I will see a similar, and I'm like, you know what, this is so similar. Why does this keep coming up? It's not Free People, but, it's similar. And I look at it, and I see all of these fancy terms that I would have never thought to use. So I take those fancy terms, and I put it next to the brand name I'm looking for, maybe Free People, and I type that in, and that actually pulls it. So sometimes you want to be super vague like the average person, and sometimes you want to go see like what those detailed keywords are that you weren't using, because you never know.
So sometimes the wrong answer is not the wrong answer. Oddly enough, it is just slightly not the right answer.
Yes. Now, keywords can be really, really difficult, and the thing to keep in mind is that you make sure that you are using these keywords not just on Google searches, but also in the platforms. So in the platforms, they do have solds that range back on Poshmark, I don't even know how long. On eBay, it's 90 days. And you can kind of scroll back and see things that are no longer available that maybe didn't make it to the Google search for whatever reason. And those are going to usually be really helpful for you if you're finding something in a thrift store, because most of these items are older. They're no longer available on the manufacturer's website. So looking at those solds is really important. Don't neglect that. Make sure you're typing in the keywords you've got into those platforms that you use, because that's going to be really important. Even if you're not trying to sell it, this might be the only way you can actually locate the item.
So once you have the specific style name for the item, if you're wanting to find out if there's something special about it, whether it was worn on TV or a blogger favorite or just something special about it, maybe a celebrity wore it just out and about, you can actually go in to the selling platforms, whether it's eBay or Poshmark, and scroll through the professional resellers that have sold it in the past and find that information, because oftentimes they have done the research for you and you just have to look till you find it, and it'll tell you, this celebrity wore it, or it was on TV, and it's just a cool little feature that you can use.
Yeah, the Worn on TV website will often pop up on Google, but it's not always going to happen. But yes, other resellers have done this research for you already, so they will likely have this information. We recently found a DVF dress that was a velvet burnout, and we found out that it was worn on Carrie Underwood and Eve, and I only found that out by scrolling through solds, and I saw that there, and it actually did increase the value of the item. I was trying to sell it for like $30, and I ended up selling it for closer to $60, I believe. So it definitely helps increase the value of your item, and I think it's also really cool to just know who wore your items. I definitely enjoy knowing that I have items that celebrities wore. That's just cool.
You just picked up a Free People top that you recognized from your obsession with Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
So you instantly realized that it was on TV, and it's just an easy way to do that.
Absolutely. All right, so you've tried keywords, you've looked up the style number, you've looked up everything you can think of, and it's not coming up. There's nothing you can do. My last ditch effort is to find an expert.
Yes. So the expert can be any number of people. So you can go to Instagram and ask people in the reselling community. You can go to Reddit. You can go to certain websites online. Lululemon Fanatics is a great resource for Lululemon because they have a billion different styles, and they're all somehow the same but different.
Yes. So in Lulu Fanatics, you can type in a style number if you have it. You know, the little size dot has the style number there. You can type that in. You can type in keywords, or you can just scroll for your whole life looking for exactly what you have. So that's a really cool website. As he mentioned, Instagram is really great because a lot of times you're going to connect with people who have specialties in certain brands, and they are an invaluable resource. I have somebody that's really great with Patagonia. I know someone really great with Lululemon. There's plenty of different people that have specialized interests that if you can connect with them, that's a really great resource to have, and it's just really cool to be able to get that specialized knowledge. We happen to be really good with Brahmin, but you know, there's specialists everywhere, so make sure you're looking for them. If you are a vintage seller, a really great resource for you is going to be the Vintage Label resource. Now, this is going to be most useful when you have some type of brand tag. And if you have that, you can type in the brand name into the Vintage Label resource, and it's going to actually give you pictures of all the labels from that brand dating back as far as they can go. And it's going to tell you exactly when this is from. So is it, you know, Levi's from the 70s or whatever it is. And that's super useful information. One, to know the value, but also just to know how old is this? Like, how cool is it that I have an item specifically from the 1970s? Like, that's awesome.
It kind of makes you feel like an archaeologist or a researcher just kind of digging through the history of an item, and that's just really cool.
Yeah. So it definitely is helpful to know all of the little niche websites. You're also going to be able to find Facebook groups that specialize in different things. There are designer Facebook groups. There are brand-specific Facebook groups. Cabby has one. Levi's has one. A bunch of places have.
I mean, you can even just go to Reddit. There's nothing people like more than to either correct you or tell you that you're wrong, or just have some bit of information that you don't have.
Yeah. So for sure, make sure that you're utilizing the experts. They love telling you information, and it's super helpful for you, and it can help you determine whether or not the item is worth selling, or if the item is something that you want to purchase for yourself. Maybe you're super into vintage items and you want to know this is for sure vintage. This is a great way to do that. Okay, now you have found the item that you're holding at the thrift store, but maybe you're looking for a more niche category and you want to know how to find ugly sweaters at the thrift store. 'Tis the season. How are you going to do that? How are you going to find it? Click the link on the screen here for tips on how to find those sweaters at the thrift store.